and you were sort of humming along in life, and then one day here recently, without a hitch, you were feeling fine, weren't you?
Well, I had had 4 days of headaches that I thought were flu, and I had a tour on the mainland. I'd heard about a flu that was preceded by headaches, and
so you thought you had the flu?
I thought I had the flu, and after 4 days of headaches, I went into the bathroom, and I had a massive brain seizure, which I knew nothing about. My partner, Christy, wrestled me into our truck, got me down to the local hospital. They did a CAT scan. Within 40 minutes, they could see a brain tumor the size of a quail egg on the right side. They took one look, and Air Medical evacuated me to Honolulu.
All right, this is a tumor in your frontal lobe region?
That's right.
Okay.
As far as I can tell, about 3 inches behind the eyes. And once in Honolulu, they did what they call a stereotaxic assay, where they basically bolt a metal frame to your head and drill in to get a piece of this thing.
Oh, my God.
And the doctors looked at it, and the diagnosis was glioblastoma metaforma, stage 4. So what this thing is the fastest moving brain tumor known to human medicine. And
stage 4.
Stage 4, which is an advanced stage. So immediately they scheduled a procedure called the gamma knife, which can only be done in a few hundred places around the world. The way to think of it is like nuclear acupuncture. 201 sources of cobalt-60 focused on this thing to burn it to a crisp. And they told me flat out, there's a 1 in 10 chance you won't live through this procedure.
Through the gamma knife?
Yes.
A 1 in 10 chance?
Yes.
Well, let's back up a little bit. Before you had the gamma knife, obviously, the doctor sat you down and said, hey, Terence, here's where you are. Here are your options. Here's your prognosis. I mean, what did they tell you before you even made a decision about a treatment?
I said, untreated, where are we headed? And
right.
He said, you'll be dead in 30 days, no question about it.
30 days?
30 days. So looking at that, and I had friends who flew in from London. My brother came from Minnesota. Friends came from California. We had enough brain power in the room to, match the Nobel Prize Committee. We all looked at this, and the gamma knife thing seemed to be the way to go. Well, yesterday it was 2 weeks
since the gamma knife.
They did it, yeah.
All right. My understanding is that the gamma knife took about 90% of the tumor and apparently destroyed it or started it toward destruction, or is that about right?
That's what they believe, 90 to 95%. The trick is these tumors have fractal boundaries. They have messy boundaries. So without follow-up radiation and chemotherapy, the doctors here said it will return within weeks, and you'll be back where you started from. So we spent a very difficult 10 days looking at every cancer therapy, alternative and otherwise, in the world, trying to sort the real stuff from the surreal stuff.
Sure.
And basically what we came down to is what scientific medicine can do for you is something like the gamma knife, or a much scarier operation called a craniotomy, where they actually take off the top of your head and go in for this thing with knives, followed by the radiation treatment, and then they pat you on the back and send you home. And
well, the other option, the surgical option, What did they tell you about that? I mean, they obviously had to tell you something so you could make an informed choice.
They said it was so dangerous and that death was so likely that they didn't want to do it unless there was an absolute crisis. And so the fourth day, I was lying down with these headaches, and I began to feel nauseated. And I thought, aha, it's going to turn into a flu.
Right.
So I went into the bathroom, and then it was, and speaking as a psychedelic explorer, all hell broke loose. It was very confusing, and it was confounding. I had no idea what was happening. I was having hallucinations. I was not sure where I was or who I was. I had 2 or 3 more of these seizures as Christy wrestled me down the mountain.
So in other words, in a way, you had a form of consciousness during these seizures, at least enough that you're able to remember what you're telling me right now.
There were flashes of awareness, but a very confused kind of awareness. And here's what the real tip-off to all this was, Art. For a month leading into these seizures, I had been having dreams that were, the only way I could describe them was I couldn't describe them. They lasted hours, and yet I could not describe them even to myself. And I even said to Christy and my son a few mornings before the seizure, I said, I think I should see a neurologist. These dreams are so bizarre, I can't believe that healthy people have these experiences. I really want to say, if you think there are no heroes in this world, go to your local cancer center and look into the eyes of the people sitting in the waiting room. They're not worried about Kosovo or the stock market. They are dealing with stuff so deep and beyond most people's imagining that you just have to genuflect to their nobility. No, I can't believe that if I'm alive, I can't generate happiness and peace of mind out of myself. And so I don't want extreme chemotherapy. I don't want wild measures to prolong things. I want simply to do a good job with this so that the entirety of my life makes sense, because I think how you die is part of how you will be remembered. And I want my ideas, my values, the books and the ideas about plants to stand the test. And Leary did a good job, and Wasson, and we all are in the same canoe here. I could almost claim a fortunate position because I know now. And that gives me time to clean up my act and
review. Now, you should walk in front. A lot of people tomorrow morning or tomorrow during the day are going to walk in front of a car and be instantly dead without 1 second of thought about anything at all.
Yes, that's what I always assumed would happen to me, an unpleasant 15 minutes on the freeway and then the velvet darkness.
Yeah, velvet darkness. So at one time you really did think about the other side as a velvet darkness.
Well, or at least the velvet curtain.
Velvet curtain, huh? So really, aside from the normal regrets we all have, what you have spoken about publicly on my program, what you have written about in your books, you don't feel any change about any of that, do you?
No, I don't. I'm amazed that I may not make it to 2012 and that I may not lift a cup to the new millennium, but no regrets. All those books, all those ideas were put forward in deepest sincerity, and nothing has changed.